Something needs to be done about this, some might say reckless abandon with buying so many books when the majority of the books that I brought with me to this new apartment, the overwhelming majority, I have not read. These are all unread books, and I keep buying more. Oh dear. So these are all books. Can I show you? Hold on. Say hello. Hello. Those are all books that I have recently purchased that I have yet to talk about. I have yet to put on my shelves. I'm not going to put them on the shelves. There is a very specific way to get them on said shelves, and that is through reading a book that's already on my shelf. I have to randomly select a book from this big old jar of unread books, read it, and then only then can I choose a book to go onto my shelves, in which case I can go ahead and read said book. Fall is coming up, Halloween is coming up. I have plenty of horror books on my shelves. I know that. This isn't like life or death, must get to these books in a short period of time, but there are a few books that I would really like to read in the fall and winter on here. So I'm gonna dedicate this month, I think, to try and getting through as many of these as possible, because I know next month, what's this month? September. Yeah, so in October, I'm going to be reading all horror, all scary, all fall. Ugh, I can't speak. And I need to use this month as an opportunity to read my book club books, which I'm going to continue with East of Eden. I did start reading Visit from the Goon Squad, which is not a book pick book. That was just one on my own. And then I think the Final Girl Support Group was chosen for a different book club. And I don't think I own that one. I'll have to check. I don't think I do this. So that's another one I gotta buy. So let's get this party started. Let's read. Let's choose a book to read. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited, but I'm also so nervous. Like, I'm just thinking of all the really thick books I have on my shelf. Please don't give me Infinite Jest. Please don't give me A Little Life. Please don't give me any of Brandon Sanderson's Way of Kings. I've got some thick books on there. Please don't give me Covenant of Water. Okay, I have one. I'm acting like I'm 5 years old. Okay, what is it? Black Heart. Black Heart! Oh, that's a short one. Amazing. That's also Christina Henry. That's the first book in her series. It's like hold on. $2.90 from Second and Charles. I miss Second and Charles. I don't think they have any in Chicago or near Chicago, but I also spent so much money there. Right before I left Delaware, I took over 500 books that I was getting rid of there, and I think I do have like $500 plus in store credit. So I'm like, if that place ever goes out of business, they need to like notify me a month before so I can like go spend 500 bucks on books, because that's exactly what I need as I'm talking about me buying too many books. So this is what I'm gonna read first of all. Okay, Black Heart. You guys know I love Christina Henry so much. This is Chicago. They're in Chicago. It's so exciting. Despite her having saved, oh shoot, this isn't the first book. Dang it, I don't have Black Wings. I really wanted to read this too. Oh, I'm an idiot. A Black Wings novel. It says it right there. Dang. That was gonna be such an easy read. I know I had the first book in the series, and I think I accidentally brought not the first book. So let's toss that away. I feel like that was my luck, and now it's gone. Good luck me. Okay, I've got another one. What's it say? The Princess Bride. It's very clear. The Princess Bride. Okay. I can do The Princess Bride. I like The Princess Bride. I absolutely love the movie. I've tried to start reading the book a few times, and I haven't gotten too far for some odd reason. Okay, The Princess Bride. That's gonna be my first one. Yay! Okay. Let's do another. How many of these should I do? I feel like maybe I should do more than I think I'm going to be able to, just because I've got a few fall, like Halloween books that, okay, I've got one. Oh, they're so itchy. I choose you. Hardmouth. Oh, I'm not doing it out towards you guys. Hardmouth. Okay, that's not too long. I think that's kind of a weird book. You know what, let's grab the books so far so we can actually see them. Here's one thing that I'm confused about. This was a book first, right? And then they turned it into a movie. 1973. That was before the movie. I'm gonna say it was before the movie. Beautiful flaxen-haired Buttercup has fallen for Wesley, the farm boy, and when he departs to make his fortune, she vows never to love another. When I was really young and my brothers and I would watch this, my parents always told us certain times in movie, they're like, cover your eyes or look away. I'm just kind of trust that we would do it. And we did it some of the time. But whenever what are they called? Those huge rat creatures. They're called something. Whenever Wesley would have to stab one of them, they're like, look away. And we'd be like, oh, good memories. Okay. Hardmouth. This is by Amanda Goldblatt. I want to say this was about a cult, but I could be very wrong. Denny works nights as a tech in a labyrinth facility outside of DC, readying fruit flies for experimentation. Her life's routine is straightforward, limited, but when her father announces that he won't be treating his recurrent terminal cancer, she responds by quietly dismantling her life. She constructs in its place the fantasy of perfect detachment. Unsure whether her impulse is monastic or suicidal, she rents a secluded cabin in the mountains. Monastic. I'm gonna need to look that up. Monastic. I don't know. Without saying goodbye, she leaves her parents behind and enters a new solitary world. It's not without disruption. Her blousy trash bag of an imaginary pal is still lingering. And then a house cat appears out of nowhere. After a bad storm rips through the mountainside, someone else shows up too. Her time in the wilderness isn't the perfect detachment she was expecting. Denny is forced to reckon with this failure while confronting a new life with its own set of pleasures and dangerous incursions. Why did I think this was about a cult? Maybe because it's someone going off alone in the woods. I don't know. Okay. I had never heard of this before I bought it. I just saw this at a thrift store and I thought the cover looked really cool. And I guess I thought that the premise sounded cool. So let's see what the first line is. I'm so interested. In this story, I do not mean to hide myself. Rather, I want to be obvious. I want you to see at least me. I'm lingering way too long over these books. We've got two. Okay, here's one. Wait, it got tangled. Okay, you. I'm trying to hold it up here so you guys won't think I'm hiding one in my sleeve or something. Shipwrecks. Shipwrecks is a short book. I think it's by a Japanese author. Let's get one more and then I will grab the two final books from the shelves. You've been so kind to me. Please continue to be kind. Okay. Is this it? I've got a bad feeling about this one. I don't know, why am I looking away? As in... Disappearing Earth. I kind of wanted to read that during the winter. Here we are. So Shipwrecks is by Akira Yoshimaru. The fires of the salt cauldrons lure passing ships onto rocky shoals. When a ship runs aground, the villagers slaughter the crew and loot its cargo for rice, wine, and other goods. One day, a ship founders onto the rocks. But Isaku, I think that's how you say his name, learns that its cargo is far deadlier than ever could be imagined. It was a gothic tale of the mysteries and horrors of fate. That sounds awesome. Oh no, it's got some writing in it. And they use pen. Why do you use pen? Gross. Only I'm allowed to do that to my books. The mountain's rugged face. Why did you underline that? Narrow coastlines. Why did you underline that? Thatched roof. Weighed down with stones. I'm not mocking this person, although it very much sounds like I am. Okay, Disappearing Earth. You can see why I wanted to read it during the winter, but I have so many books that I could read in the winter. This was a National Book Award finalist, okay. One August afternoon, two sisters, Sophia 8 and Alyona 11, go missing from a beach on the far-flung, oh dear, Kamchatka Peninsula in northeastern Russia. I'm sorry to anyone Russian who's listening. Taking us through the year that follows, Disappearing Earth enters the lives of women and girls in this tightly knit community who are connected by the crime. We are transported to vistas of rugged beauty, open expanses of tundra, soaring volcanoes, dense forests, the glassy seas that border Japan and Alaska, and into a region as complex as it is alluring, where social and ethnic tensions have long simmered, and where outsiders are often the first to be accused. That was a really long sentence. For some reason, I thought this was about climate change. Why am I'm probably confusing this with another book. Oh, it's signed. At least I think it is. I'm guessing it is. It would be so easy to like fake a signature though, so. These are the 4 books that I am going to be working on this month, as well as the ones I mentioned earlier. Visit from the Goon Squad, and then East of Eden. I've got a little bit more Goon Squad. I'm about a third of the way through and really enjoying it. So once I read these 4, once I complete them, I'll come back and I will choose the 4 books that I can in turn take off my TBR shelf and put on my shelves. I got pretty lucky. I don't know why I thought I was going to be choosing like the longest books, but these aren't bad, so I shall report back. It's been a few days since I previously filmed where I went and I selected the books that I'm going to be focusing on reading this month. I've made some progress, specifically with these 3 books. We're gonna go through a bit of a wave when we talk about these books. We'll start at a high point, we'll go low, and then we'll end high. So, A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. I did finish it. I really enjoyed this, surprisingly. I say surprisingly, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I am not huge on collections of short stories. And I didn't know going in that that's pretty much what this was. I bought quite a few of her books in the previous apartment. I think I ended up unhauling a lot of them, unfortunately, because I would like to continue reading from her. I think she might have won the Pulitzer for this book. But anyway, it's kind of difficult to describe what this book is about. We have, I would say, 2 primary characters, Benny and Sasha. Benny used to be part of this really popular punk rock band, and now he owns his own record label. Sasha is his assistant. And the other POVs, of which there are many, we get through them. We go back and forth in time in this book. So Benny is currently in his, I want to say 50s. He's living in New York. He has a son, and he's just really struggling with middle age, the fact that he is getting older. He can't do what he used to do. He doesn't feel vital to the music industry anymore. He doesn't like how the industry's changing. And then we also focus on Sasha, which is his assistant. And the way we're introduced to Sasha is she is stealing in the women's restroom. Jennifer Egan reveals a lot about how these 2 characters became the way that they are, how they ended up where they did. It's about a whole bunch of stuff, and describing it isn't doing it any favors. This is more, I think, a book that you read for the character and for the beautiful writing and for the emotion than you do for any sort of plot. So just to give you a little taste of her writing, which one do I want to read? Maybe a few. I've made quite a lot of highlighting marks in some of these books, so just prepare. She saw her apartment as he must see it, a bit of local color that would fade almost instantly into the tumble of adventures that everyone has on first coming to New York. It jarred Sasha to think of herself as a glint in the hazy memories that Alex would struggle to organize a year or two from now. Where was that place with the bathtub? Who was that girl? Her writing is just so beautiful, and it's so introspective, and it's so dreamlike, and it's about connection and disconnection and feeling lost in life and feeling like your expectations of where you thought you would be at a certain age or a certain part of your life doesn't match your reality. There are some, I don't want to say bad characters because it's not at all a black and white book, but there are characters who do really awful things and have terrible qualities. But Egan writes from such a place of like non-judgment, where she's not trying to impart any sort of like social justice. She just seems to be really curious about what makes humans tick and why they make a lot of the choices they do. It's so natural, it's so easy to get into, but it's so beautiful. Like, it's very descriptive, again, kind of hazy writing, but it feels so effortless. A lot of times you can kind of feel the work behind the words, but it feels like this just kind of naturally comes out from her pen, which makes me really jealous. As they move together, Rolf feels his self-consciousness miraculously fade, as if he is growing up right there on the dance floor, becoming a boy who dances with girls like his sister. Charlie feels it too. In fact, this particular memory is one she'll return to again and again for the rest of her life, long after Rolf has shot himself in the head in their father's house at 28. Her brother as a boy, hair slicked flat, eyes sparkling, shyly learning to dance. I mean, come on. Come on, what else do you need? It's such a sad, lonely, hopeful book. And those two of those things don't usually go with the others, but I really like this one. I have told you absolutely almost nothing about it, but I seem to go on forever. Jennifer Egan Goon Squad, we started at a high point, and now we are going to fall to a low point, to the lowest, I think, thus far. And that is Disappearing Earth by Julia Phillips. Oh boy, was this bad for me. What happened? This is one of the New York Times 10 best books of the year. This was nominated for the National Book Award. I don't understand. It took everything inside me not to DNF this book, and the only reason I finished it was because this is like the only one I had on audiobook, and I really need to get some books from my cart onto my shelves so I can start them. Oh, this book was so bad. This might be one of my worst reads of the year. But let's talk. Let's discuss. What did I not like about this, other than everything? So, I think a lot of this book was mismatched expectations. So, I read the blurb in the back. I read a lot of the comments. This is supposed to be a thriller, a mystery. Thrilling mystery. It says it there. It's about supposedly two girls who go walking one day. They disappear. And then in the months that follow, we are given POVs from the women who are connected to this crime, who live in this town. Almost none of that is the case. This is not a thriller. This is not a mystery. The only thing that is true is the first and the last chapter has to do with the girl's disappearance. That's it. The other 90% of the book is from these random women who live in this town who aren't even connected to the girls. It's like one woman will hear about it on TV, and for some reason that's good enough for us to get her point of view. Okay. What didn't I like? I need to, instead of just kind of moaning about it, let's try to put it into words. I think I felt about this book how a lot of people claim to feel about Sally Rooney. The sole Sally Rooney book that I read, I really enjoyed, but I get why she is divisive to a lot of people. And I feel like the complaints I hear about her really match how I felt about this book, in that, like, pretentious, pain and misery equals depth and meaning. The point of the book seems to be misery, and it's not a symptom of the book. It's the goal of the book. There are a lot of different POVs we're given of women who live in this town, and they all feel like the exact same person, and they're all unhappy, they're all miserable, they're all discontent with where they live or where they ended up in life or who they're married to or who they're not married to or their job. And very few of them are willing to do anything to change that. So it's just kind of like you're basking in unhappiness, and you write 300 pages almost of how unhappy everyone is in this town in Russia that makes me never want to visit this town in Russia. Like, this was supposed to be so atmospheric, set out in the cold, in the ice. And it's just like, I really just never want to go here, because it seems like unhappiness is like an infection that takes place here, and there's no real point to it. There's nothing to do about it. I didn't like any of the characters. I went into this thinking, okay, it'll be a good murder mystery about how, set in another country where I don't know how children or women are treated. Maybe it has something to do about that. Maybe it has something to do about the crime rate. I don't know. And it wasn't about anything, it seemed to be. It was to others, because a lot of other people really like this, and I just really struggle to understand why. And I like dark books, but you have to mix the darkness with something. There has to be a point to the darkness. I just felt like there was a confusion in this book that if you are miserable, it must mean that you are important and deep and insightful, and I just didn't get. I got the misery part, I just didn't get any of the other stuff. So I am really sorry. That was like a scathing review. I feel really bad saying that. It's not like any of the authors of these books will ever watch these videos, but I always just feel after I've gone off on a book, I'm just like, oh, this author put, I'm sure, a lot of time and work into this, but it wasn't for me. We'll say that it wasn't for me. It was for other people. Let's climb again to something really good. I'm loving this. The Princess Bride. Such a good movie. I've watched the movie a bunch of times. This is so charming and funny and lighthearted, and just exactly what I needed after this one. This is like the antithesis of that. So for those of you who don't know about, who haven't seen the movie, who don't know about the book, I'm gonna try not to get too tangled in this spider's web. I'm gonna attempt to explain this. William Goldman is the author of said novel. We are given the first maybe 2 chapters from his point of view. As he is growing up as a young boy, his father reads him a book called The Princess Bride, and the author is S. Morgenstern, I believe. And this really sparks his love of books and his love of reading. And as he grows up, he stumbles upon this book again, and he has a son now. He really wants to read this book to his son, but there are no editions currently in print. It's really difficult to find. He finally finds one and he starts to read it again, but he discovers that his dad left a lot of really boring parts of this book out, and he wants his son to love it as much as he did, so he's going to revise it. He's going to take all the really boring family history stuff, history of the countries, things that kids wouldn't be interested in as much. He's going to take them out, he's going to revise it, and he is going to tell us the revision of the book. This did it so well that I started doubting myself, and I did Google. I was like, is S. Morgenstern real? Who really wrote The Princess Bride? So it got one over on me. But essentially this is about, it is a love story, this is an adventure story. I am only a quarter of the way through. We are introduced initially to Wesley and Buttercup. Wesley is the farm boy who lives on Buttercup's parents' farm, and she really loves riding horses, and she doesn't like washing, and she doesn't like brushing her hair, but she's very beautiful, and as she's getting older and older, her position in the most beautiful women in the country, in the world, starts to climb. It's really funny, we're given, like, when she is 14, this other woman is considered the most beautiful woman, and we're given a few chapters of like, this is what happens to her, and she's no longer beautiful because this, or because someone does this to her. And Buttercup is falling in love with Wesley. Wesley doesn't really have any money to eventually marry her and support her, so he leaves to seek his fortune in America, which really threw me off because the story mostly takes place in Florida, and I know that's a real place, but it always felt so much more like a fantasy book to me than any sort of like historical fiction. And just to see like the word America thrown in was really odd. So he leaves on a ship, and they love each other very much, and they're going to be together one day, and it's very intense love. And his ship is attacked by pirates, and he is believed to be dead. Now, Prince Humperdinck is said ruler of the land. Well, his father is, but his father's getting older, so Humperdinck really needs to think about getting an heir, getting married, having a son. And word reaches him that there's this very beautiful woman nearby, so he sets out and proposes. And Prince Humperdinck, so many of the characters, obviously in the movie you have limited time with them to focus on their thoughts and their feelings and their histories and all that. You can just cram so much more into a book. And Humperdinck, he has this zoo of death because hunting is his great love. And it says, on the first level, he put enemies of speed, wild dogs, cheetahs, hummingbirds. It's such a cheeky book, and I love it so much more than I thought I would. I find it so much funnier than I thought I was going to. And one day Buttercup is out riding her horse, something she loves more than anything else, and she comes across three men, a Spaniard, a Turk, and a Sicilian, and they kidnap her. They're planning on starting a war with Gilder, which is a country, I guess, that's close by. I really don't know. But they take her up the cliffs of insanity, and there's a man in black who is following. And that's currently where I have stopped. She knows already, the Sicilian said. She's been awake for every word of this. Buttercup lay under the blanket, not moving. How could he know that, she wondered. How can you be sure, the Spaniard asked. The Sicilian senses all, the Sicilian said. Conceited, Buttercup thought. Yes, very conceited, the Sicilian said. The author has so much freedom to do whatever he wants in the book, and I'm loving this so far. I really feel like this might be like a 5-star, which I think is going to be my first 5-star of the year, maybe. I can't think of any others that I've had, but this is fantastic. I'm loving this so much. Because I finished Disappearing Earth, I do get to put one of the books on my book cart up on my shelf, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to choose a book that is in a book club next month. So I'm trying to plan ahead a little bit And then I want to get some on that I really want to read soon. I am also going to choose another book from the jar. I'm going on a trip in a few days. I have a wedding to attend. I'm going to be flying there, and I don't do great with reading in cars and on planes. So I'm going to choose something from the jar until I find an audiobook that's available, just so I don't get car sick, plane sick, nauseous. I don't do very well with that stuff, and I really want to make a bit more progress. This one, I think I'm going to easily finish this week. I'll probably take this one with me to read at night on my trip, but I do want one again that I can work on while I'm traveling. So let's do that real quick. I also have my laptop right in front of me. Ooh. Just choose one. This one. Oh, I got two. You. So I can see what's available on Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin? Or am I completely making that up? Left Hand. Are you available? Oh, you're the 4th book in a series? What? Really? I definitely don't have the first 3. Didn't we face this last time? I'm just gonna set there. Okay, give me the first book or a standalone. Please don't make it super long. What's that? Geek 4. Oh, Geek Love. Okay, Geek Love. I don't think that's gonna be as an audiobook. That's like a weird book, supposedly, which I love weird books. Geek Love. Oh, wait, it is available. Awesome. I mean, there's a small, 2 weeks. Wait, what? But it says there's no hold. Okay. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I placed a hold on it because it says less than 2 weeks hold. I just need it in a few days or available now. I'm going to do one more just in case I don't get this one in time. I'm gonna have to pull all of these out. I keep doing it towards me, not you. My Century. I'm looking on Libby. I don't see that one on there. Dang it! Come on, Christina, please pull one. You. Whew. The Snow Child. I love how I'm reading. Are you gonna be available? Yes. Yes. My Century, you go back in. And we've got Geek Love and we've got The Snow Child. I'm going to wait for Geek Love. If it comes in before I leave, then that's what I'll read. If not, I will move to The Snow Child because that one is currently available. Sweet. Now let's go ahead and choose the book that I'm going to put back on my shelf. Here is the lovely, completely stuffed book cart, and this one right here, The Final Girl Support Group, that is the book that we are going to be reading next month for one of my book clubs. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one, and this is gonna go up on the shelf. Yay!